apart from Allah, you would find therein much contradictions. So, do they not consider the Quran carefully had it been from other than Allah? If the Quran had come from anyone apart from Allah, you would find much contradiction in the book. So this is what Allah is saying. Here's the Quran. If this had come from anyone else apart from Allah, you would find much contradiction in it. Now, there are a couple of problems here. At some contradictions, I'll give the references here. People can look them up. So, some examples. How long did it take Allah to create the universe? According to chapter 7, verse 54 of the Quran, it took 6 days. According to Surah 41, verses 9 through 12 of the Quran, it took 8 days. So heavens or the earth. If you go to chapter 2, verse 29 of the Quran, you find that the earth was created first, then Allah created the heavens. So the earth comes first, then the heavens. But if you go to Surah 79, and the earth. Well, you can look all these up. Surah 7, verse 143 says, was the first Muslim. Chapter 6, verse 14 of the Quran says that Muhammad was the first Muslim. You can look all these up. Surah 7, verse 143 says that Moses was the first Muslim. And yet the Quran also declares that Adam and Abraham were Muslims, even though they lived before Muhammad and Moses. Built the Kaaba, and yet Surah 28 verse 46 claims that Kaaba, and yet Surah sent a messenger to every nation. The Quran also tells us in Surah 2 verses 125 to 129 that Abraham and Ishmael came to Arabia where they built the Kaaba, and yet Surah 28 verse 46 claims that Muhammad was the first messenger to come to the Arabs. So, Prophet has come to every nation, but Muhammad was the first messenger to come to the Arabs, and yet Abraham and Ishmael were there where they built the Kaaba and set up worship right there in Arabia. So, which one's right? 8 of the Quran, committing shirk is unforgivable. And then later in the same chapter, verse 153, Allah forgives people for committing shirk. And you can find other examples. Like tells us that the Quran is written in pure Arabic, and you know, are there lots of foreign words in the Quran?
Oh, just check Arthur Jeffrey, and you'll see how many. Absolutely.
And Muslims in the West will quote this. You see, Christians, Muslims, Jews, we're all going to heaven, right? Jews and Christians don't need to fear because we will be accepted by Allah. So Jews and Muslims in the West will quote this. You see, Christians, Muslims, Jews, we're all going to heaven, right? That's what the Quran right there, and it does. According to Surah 19, verse 67, all living things are created from nothing. According to chapter 96, verse 2, man is created from a blood clot. According to Surah 21, verse 30, created from water. According to be possible on the day of judgment. According to Surah 20, verse 109, Surah 34, verse 23, and Surah 43, verse 86, yes, there will be intercession on the day of judgment. But according to Surah 2, verse 123, Surah 6, verse 51, and Surah 82, verse 19, there's no intercession on the day of judgment. What happened to Pharaoh when he was chasing the Israelites? According to Surah 10, verse 92, Allah saved him. And according to Surah 73, verse 72, verse 103, Pharaoh drowned. Verse 90, Muslims aren't allowed to drink alcohol at all. In the Quran, we have to ask, what's the penalty for sexual sin? According to Surah 4, verse 15, saying that the penalty for sexual sin is house arrest. Lock them up. You go to another